Lawyer and broadcaster Joseph Haynes Davis joins me now from Orlando in Florida. Good to have you on the show. For most people living outside of the United States, it is pretty hard to comprehend why the country cannot pass the necessary legislation to prevent or at least reduce incidents like this.
Well, before I begin, like most, let me give my condolences to the families of the victims of this unthinkable crime which happened in Uvalde, Texas. With your question, it is a matter that probably will not be resolved even with legislation, with more gun control legislation. Gun control here in the United States, for the most part, is meted out through the several states, through the 10th Amendment. States are allowed to issue gun control measures and red flag measures as they see fit for the several states. Let me also say that from what has been reported, and most of my reports have been published by and through Washington Post, this particular assailant, who fortunately was shot dead in the act by the police, was a disturbed young man whose mother was on drugs. He, according to reports, he had a speech impediment. He was bullied over time since junior high school and so forth. And so when you have a young person like this who has been bullied, who has been acting out, who shows these signs, it might be a responsible act for the parents to have some type of intervention with this young man through the mental health counselors and mental health availability and so forth. Ultimately, when an actor acts in this way, he, I believe, must be eliminated rather than captured, because the attempt to capture might lead to more deaths. This person needed to be eliminated, and he was.
There are many people out there that have been bullied. There are many people out there that suffer from some sort of impediment, but including myself. But I mean, that does not mean that I have ever thought or planned to actually participate in an action like this. I mean, there are very simple things that can be done. Background checks, wait periods. That this could have made a difference here, no?
Well, background checks are enforced through the several states. Waiting periods are enforced through the several states. But when a person legally and lawfully purchases a firearm, then the question becomes, what happens? What can be done to prevent that person acting in a criminal way? You never know what a criminal is going to do until a criminal acts in a criminal way. Now, when they act, then you have to respond, and you have to respond also with lethal deadly force, whether it be the authorities or other armed citizens who happen to encounter this person, given what we're talking about. For instance, in the instance, if I may, in the instance when you have a so-called white supremacist acting against Black Americans, well, it is in the right via the Second Amendment for an armed Black American to be able to fire back in self-defense to protect himself and his family.
Okay. Joseph, I want to ask you one last question because we're running out of time, and you brought this up, and I do have a question about it. I mean, I've come across dozens of notable figures calling on lawmakers to make some changes. This is a call that we've seen pretty much every time, every single time after a tragedy like this. I mean, clearly this top-down approach is not working. Why can't local governments, explain to our viewers internationally, sort of impose their own regulations for firearms?
Well, they have. I mean, for instance, here in Florida, after the Stoneman Douglas incident, the legislature in Florida strengthen gun control measures. But it still does not stop a criminal from acting in a criminal way. The thing that is implied, it seems to me, is massive gun confiscation ordered some kind of way, but that will never happen, I do not believe.
Okay. Joseph Haynes Davis, thank you very much for joining us here on TRT World. I do appreciate the analysis. Thank you.